Welcome back to the App Show. Mike Agerbo here with John Beeler. Got a really cool guest on the show today. We've been talking a lot about YouTube over the past few shows and talking to some of the folks that actually make a living doing this and are passionate about it. We've got Rodney Hsu. He is the man behind Fishing with Rod, a very popular YouTube channel that I guess is all about fishing. Thanks for coming on the program.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah.
So tell us about this channel. It's a YouTube channel, Fishing with Rod. I get it. How long have you been doing it?
Yeah. So Fishing with Rod didn't start out as a YouTube channel. It began as a website back in the early 2000s. When I graduated from UBC as a fishery biology, my background is in tech. I began playing with website as a hobby, and eventually developed Fishing with Rod as a website because I love fishing as an avid fisherman who immigrated to BC back in the mid-90s. I was having a really hard time finding out where to fish, how to fish in this area, but more importantly, how to follow the fishing regulations in this area. Because it really isn't a lot of resources when it comes online, when it comes to that type of information. So I thought, well, we need to have something like that in BC so people can actually, if they want to get into fishing, they need to have a place to go and finding out how to fish. So that's how Fishing Rod began as a website. Eventually, it turned from a hobby into a business. Advertisers start coming in and they wanted fishing guides and lodges and want to advertise on the tackle stores. So, hey, so maybe I can do this as a full-time business. And that's how it began. YouTube came along back in 2006. And I was actually one of the first few people who signed up as an account, and thought, what is YouTube? Why are people uploading videos onto it? Right? Maybe I can do this as well. So I started putting up some homemade fishing videos, and for a couple of years with my.
And how are you shooting them back then?
Back then it was a camcorder, just as an HD camcorder.
Was someone helping you?
No, well, my wife, who fishes with me quite often, and we're just kind of holding the camera and pointing at each other, right, without any microphones, and just shooting away.
So
and
the quality was high.
Exactly. Back then, it was very high. Yeah. And it wasn't really until 2010 when I thought, well, maybe we can have an actual fishing show on the channel. So I took the risk and went out and bought my own DSLRs and microphones and just kind of.
So you had to learn how to shoot on all of those.
Exactly,
and edit and everything.
Yeah, and you know what? And YouTube was a great place to learn all that stuff. We learned how to shoot with the DSLR, how to adjust the audio levels, and how to edit the videos.
How long did it take you to figure it all out? Because
Yeah, for me, it was pretty fast. And I wouldn't say because I'm good at it, but I was really, really into it.
Yeah.
It's something I've kind of really always wanted to do. As a kid, I've always watched fishing shows and watch nature documentaries. And I always thought, well, I kind of want to do that, right? And YouTube kind of presented itself as a opportunity.
So you started in 2006. Mm-hmm. So you've been on YouTube for like 14 years now.
Absolutely, yeah.
And so when did it really start gaining momentum?
So once we started buying all those camera equipments back in 2010, that's when it really started.
Because the quality went up?
The quality went up tremendously, yeah. So, and then we learned how to present ourselves in front of the camera, and we changed our ways. And that's kind of like the good thing about YouTube. You're constantly making, I guess, mistakes. You're constantly learning, right? So you're always adjusting how you're presenting yourself to the audience, and you're getting feedbacks from the audience. They like this, they don't like this, and then you kind of change your ways, and that's how the videos become. That's how your show becomes better.
How do you decide when everyone says don't read the comments on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. When you start getting feedback, say someone doesn't like how you're presenting or whatever, how do you decide when you're actually going to action on something versus just sort of let that ebb, sort of wash over you and like move on because it's just somebody's, opinion that particular day? I guess you're looking for patterns and then sort of moving where the fish are, kind of thing.
Yeah. So I've been asked this quite often, and I read every single comment. Before YouTube, I even now on the website, we have a discussion forum that's fairly big. So I've seen all kinds of messages, and whether it's positive, negative, and I think you just gotta use your judgment, have pretty thick skin. Some comments can be very critical, but they can also be very constructive.
Yeah.
And you just gotta weed out the ones that are obviously not trying to be.
They're not right in the head.
Exactly, right? They're not trying to be critical or constructive. They're just trying to
Just
put
be a
you
troll.
down.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? And those are the ones just kind of don't even respond and just kind of ignore it. But I do take in any quote-unquote negative, critical, constructive responses. And because we're not perfect, right? You know, you want to make changes and you want to learn. And you know, we got to realize everyone makes mistakes. And what's more important is that you got to learn from your mistakes and make those changes.
Well, that must also be very good for your audience too, to see your evolution over time as well, and the fact that they're giving you feedback, you're acting on it, and making it better for everybody.
So people like to see growth, and if people see that you're interacting with them and taking in their feedbacks, they feel like this video content is theirs as well, right?
Right.
So
Because they feel invested in it, part of a
exactly
community.
right.
How many subscribers do you have?
So 55,000 subscribers right now.
And do you have a sense of where they're from?
It's all over the place, really. North America,
Yeah.
It's not just BC, but Ontario, down in the States, and so we've had people interacting with us from all over the place, and they feel like a lot of times they feel like they're friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you find that those people that say maybe somewhere in the U.S. are watching your show to see, like, hey, I'd really like to go there and do what you're doing in the Fraser Valley, for example?
Is that where most of the videos are, in the Fraser Valley in BC?
it's pretty much over BC.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, a big chunk of it is in the Metro Vancouver, Fraser Valley area, but also Vancouver Island. We've done stuff up in Yukon, and we've done stuff in Florida. So all over the place. Yeah.
So you're it's kind of interesting because you're really showcasing fishing and sort of the techniques and tech around it, but you're also kind of a tourism show in a little way, right? So you get to showcase some really cool locations and places and your favorite fishing holes and that type of thing.
Yeah. So there are several aspects when it comes to the content found on my YouTube channel. So the tourism aspects that you mentioned. So we work with various DMOs across BC to promote the regional fishing, features. But there's also the conservation aspects of the show as well. We're trying to promote responsible fishing and any challenges in the fisheries. We have lots right now in BC. We're trying to educate people on that. It's very complex. The challenges are quite big, and quite often people find it quite overwhelming to digest that. So we're trying to break it down a little bit to make it easier for people to understand and kind of motivate people to get involved, take action as well.
We're talking with Rodney Hsu. He is the man behind Fishing with Rod, a very cool website all about fishing, and a very popular YouTube channel as well. So, Rodney, you've been doing this for a long time. So you've made a lot of mistakes. You've learned a lot in doing your YouTube channel. What are some tips you could give for people out there that maybe have a passion and would like to start their own YouTube channel?
Right. So I've been asked by a lot of young people when it comes to that question, and my response is always just you got to get out and do it. There has never been a time that there's so many opportunities presented to you. You can do anything you want when it comes to YouTube, right? There is always an audience you can find on YouTube. As long as if you're passionate about it, just go out and make the videos. Eventually people will come to you and they'll watch it. Yeah, so that will be one. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. And you will make mistakes. You will have bad audio on one day and won't get the shots in some other days. And but always just keep putting up the videos. And
what are some of your biggest mistakes? Not to be negative, but I mean, okay, maybe you don't have the right audio one day, but what are some things that you've learned?
So in fishing, it's, I guess it can be pretty sensitive. It's not like mountain biking. It's not like cooking. Sometimes the information shouldn't be shared
Yeah.
So to give you an example, so when it comes to tourism, you want to feature an area, but you also don't want to market it too well to spoil it, I
Got
guess.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want to drive too many people to one fishing spot. And over the years, I've become more conscious about that. So one of the biggest mistakes I would say is that, in the past, I have mentioned places that shouldn't have been mentioned.
Yeah.
And that doesn't fly very well with a good portion of my audience.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but that's just fishing. So you want to listen to your audience. That I think that the take-home message that would be that.
So, I mean, you've been doing this for 14 years now, the Fishing with Rod channel. You started off filming it yourself. Are you still filming it yourself?
I do have one business partner that I work
Okay.
with, and
Yeah.
we both have the same skill sets. We both present ourselves in front of the camera and film, so we do film each other as well. And so we do work with various fishing guides and lodges, and like I said, various DMOs as well. So yeah.
So you have 55,000 subscribers. You've got a popular website as well, and you can make a living from this.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yeah. So
You're not selling salmon out of the back of your truck, or
well, I hope not. No. Yeah, that could be a very bad
thing, yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the good thing about this business is that you can the opportunities is endless. The tough thing is you do invest fair amount of time into it. So for my job, it's not just making videos and filming, but also going out, approaching sponsors, and putting out proposals, and making people want to buy into this video feature and stuff like that. So,
I think that's something that a lot of people overlook is all the background stuff that you have to do. It's not just pressing a record and casting your rod. You have to do all that other sort of prep work, and then also your post-production as well. So
absolutely,
it's not easy, but it is kind of like
yeah, no question, right?
Yeah.
But so then on top of that, John, like the business aspect, like getting sponsors and that, did they come to you, or how did that work? I guess in the early days, you probably had to go out and hustle.
So speaking of mistakes, I've actually made lots of mistakes when it comes to the marketing aspects of this business. So starting at the very beginning, like I said, my background is biology.
Yeah.
I have no marketing skills, just to make sure people know that. And so I had to learn everything from scratch on my own. And a lot of the times it's trial and error, going out, approaching people, and sometimes I'm not doing it right, and I'm getting rejected, and other times I'm doing right, and then you just kind of trying to build from that, right? Even today, I have to approach companies instead of them coming to us, and the attitude that I have now is more about it's more what I can do for them, not what they can do for me.
Right.
Regardless how big you are, I think everyone should be that humble and just keep that in mind, right? Yeah, not hoping people will just come to you and giving you what you want. Yeah.
We've been talking with Rodney Hsu. He is the man behind Fishing with Rod. Cool name. A very popular website. What's the website address?
So fishingwithrod.com.
Okay, that was easy. Okay. And I guess if you look that up on YouTube, it would be the same.
It will be the
channel
same,
on
yeah.
that.
Everything, it's all the same. It's Facebook and Instagram.
So fish have made you rich.
kind of, yeah.
Rich
yeah.
in spirit.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's I think my dad was quite shocked.
Yeah.
That I think as an Asian parent, he kind of envisioned
What the hell are you doing?
yeah. Doctors, lawyers, and not a fishing person.
I think we've been doing something wrong, John.
I think so.
Yeah, we're going to have to get to Fishing with John and Mike.
That's right.
Be the worst fishing channel ever. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah.